Okay. Why I'm here. The very short story is that Gabe invited me. And I know that I just said that I would try not to read, but I am going to read tonight, y'all. And that's because I haven't forgotten all of the things that I'm supposed to do, like not be too intense and not be too strong. Don't come off as an angry Black woman. I know all those things, but just like all of you, I'm tired. So I'm going to read because I want to make sure that I give you something. But I'm going to give it to you straight from my heart, okay? So I'm here because less than a week ago, I launched a podcast. But I'd actually been holding on to this dream in a formal way for about a year. When all that's happening was brought to our collective attention, and when outwardly, for the first time in my human experience, it seemed to register as more than just a Black problem, when it seemed like Black people's humanity might finally be legitimized, I felt more compelled than ever to do this talk when Gabe asked me. I recently said to AJ, he said that this started on Saturday. That's crazy. I feel like I've known these people for my whole life. We've been on the phone for hours and hours. But I said to AJ, I said, AJ, we are Black and privileged. But for what? For ourselves? So I scanned my memory for images of my mom, my aunties, my grandmas, my Cherokee great-grandmother, but I couldn't make out the pattern of serve yourself first in any of their behavior. I'm sorry, y'all. So despite being tired because of what I see when I close my eyes, and what I see is cops driving into people or holding a gun in the face of a child, and I'm tired because of what I hear, and what I hear are Christians speaking out only against looting in his name. And I'm here because of the deafening silence of my communities. And I am clearly keeping it together, you guys. But this week I quit Teams and I canceled Friends. I can barely read my script here. I picked fights on social media for no reason. Irene, I know that we're cool, but I'm still sorry. And I have to say this or else I'm a fraud. If it weren't for your friend, Zachy, who's a Black man, y'all, be impressed because I'm ashamed. He called me and then he suffered an undeserved verbal onslaught from me. And then he still stayed on the line to help me process what's troubling me. And so that's how I got to the seat. But I'm also here because countless people, both hidden in fear of judgment within our community, as well as outsiders, are praying right now that the Lord, said a pot-smoking queer girl, would have a way to speak to us. He's the only person I know that's capable of not matching hate with hate. I am not, but I'm his, and that's why I'm here. As I alluded to earlier, when an already unbelievably burden begins to acquire an upward ascent, and AKA when it feels like I'm fighting for justice and against oppression at the same time, I will always quit and look for a plainer, flatter route. After confirming the preeminence of white supremacy in the church and in academia, I turned to the heathen ultimate community where I was in fact most lovingly raised up. As much as I love this sport and to sport, this is my last option, hope, community, family on the earth. Everything I've done very visibly in the last year has been with the goal, the singular goal, of acquiring a platform. Sadly, even in this outwardly reasonable community, you'll have to use your imaginations. Inwardly, we are hesitant to align our livelihoods with Black lives. Do I wish I had known this before I spent myself in the form of unconditional support to these cautious community members? Well, of course. Do I still want to help, even though, despite my best efforts, my Black life doesn't even seem to matter in this, my most treasured home? Well, yes, but it really isn't me, though. It's him. There are other platforms I attempted to use. They all respectfully declined. Oh, dang. Oh, Lord. Y'all, we got somebody amazing in our ears and in our hearts. Luke. And I didn't even read the question. And so here it is. Why are we okay with sharing this on the AUDL's channel? Just pretend I said it first. It doesn't matter. Okay, here we go. There are other platforms that I attempted to use. They all respectfully declined. Of all the platforms I considered, I expected the AUDL to decline the most, but they didn't. A white friend of mine told me he was struggling with his silent white friends suddenly joining the fight. Here's what I said to him. If you're watching, E, we are still friends and I still love you. I said, no offense. Your issue with it doesn't matter. See how Black people feel. That's what you amplify. I don't care when they start. I care that they start. I can't afford to be mad that they're late. Only you can. White men are not being hunted. They are hunting. I am learning that politeness is breast milk for white supremacy. I said it. That equity starves it, and that the whole system must be burned down with force. Okay. Another person whose contribution has been integral to this endeavor, upon learning that the AUDL was involved, threatened to remove themselves. I'm thankful they were open to have a conversation, be impressed. Seriously, this is all being held together by hours of FaceTime conversation. I'm thankful that they were open to a conversation. I politely disguised my hurt, apologized for the sudden change of plans, and suggested we revisit our original plans at a later date. But thank the Lord, before we hung up, they asked me the question that I forgot to ask you guys. Why is it okay for you, Shanye, to use the AUDL's platform? I explained that right now, right at this very moment, maybe even in my house, y'all, I know Black people who are done with white people. Mm-hmm. They're tired and they're angry. They don't have another ounce of energy with which to wait or to forgive. I explained that based on the person's unwillingness to forgive the AUDL, then actually my community was also entitled to hold on to what white people had done to Black people. Silence. Fortunately, I was able and willing to help them see, and they asked to rejoin the fight with us. Maybe it's because I don't have a platform or any of the things that come with it that people are so concerned about forfeiting, but I don't care about affiliations or likes or what it costs me or who it costs me. I'll do anything, I'll say anything, I'll give anything that I have if at the end of the day, no child of any color will ever again need to ask their fifth grade teacher, but why on the neck? I hope I do such a good job fighting for social justice that I'm out of a job. Gabe asked the AUDL if they would help him to say something to this community during a time of unprecedented human tragedy. Not Black, but human tragedy. In my mind, they should have said no. But the AUDL said yes. And that is why it's okay for us to share this here.